Testing. All right. You can cut out that other.
Hey, yo, aim. Yeah. Run it up, Blondo.
Hey, see y'all from Texas, where we sit riding swangers and put diamonds in our neck.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Doc Holliday. Got my man Troy White, Fat Mouth Sports, Gathering Old Men Podcast. We are in the building again, and it is Monday. It is another HBCU tonight. Make sure you like the stream, comment, share, subscribe, comment, like, but subscribe to the channel. But we had a good slew of basketball this whole weekend. And first and foremost, let me go ahead and congratulate Southern University of New Orleans for winning the HBCU Athletic Conference men's title last night. If you didn't watch, it was on Urban Edge Network. If you did not watch that game, it was a game for the ages. Between Suno men and Tougaloo. So you had New Orleans in the house, you had Jackson in the house. You also, on the women's side, you had Russ College, girls from Holly Springs, and also Talladega, the Lady Tornadoes. They was out there. Shout out to Rust, women's basketball, for winning the HBCU Athletic Conference women's tournament. And here's a thought about that. They only had 6 players.
They only played. Hey, it's that time of year. You just got to get out there and get it.
You got to get out there and get it. No, ain't no excuse about injuries and stuff like that. If you can go out there and play, you go out there and play. But they did it with six players. 6 players.
It is that time of year. First off, I want to give a shout out to the HBCU AC. Put on a tournament that made everybody watch.
Yes.
We've never done a watch party for them, and we did a watch party this year. We did 6 hours.
6 hours. 6 hours on Saturday. We were flipping. I mean, it was certain times where they ain't had the best reception out there in Tuscaloosa, but we kept up with all the action on Saturday, including in the SWAC, and we need to get in touch with the MEAC also, because they it's coming down to the wire between some teams.
No, it don't matter. It don't matter. What matters is that game Thursday night. I seen what y'all was saying. In Daytona. Records don't matter. This personal. Bring your
It don't even matter now. They already got, but see, here's the thing though. It don't matter now because they already the men already took the regular season. It really don't matter.
You can put up a goal on A1A, I4, I10, 75. It don't matter. Lace them things up and get to it. It don't matter. I'm not saying nothing good about them people this week. Nothing.
What's up, Square? What's up, Jay? Like, shout out to them. We're gonna get into y'all. We're gonna go talk about y'all your alma mater in a minute. We're gonna talk about them Lady Bulldogs and what they doing over there in Huntsville. But yeah, man, the HBCU Athletic Conference did put on a show. They put on a hell of a conference tournament that went all the way from, what was it, Tuesday? I think it started Tuesday. It ended yesterday.
Tuesday to Sunday, yeah.
Tuesday through Sunday. And for 15 teams on both sides. They try to get to that. They try to make their name, get their name called for the NAIA tournament, which starts on the 13th. So it starts next week. Everybody's trying to battle to get to Kansas City because that's where the championships is held at. But it's gonna be very interesting. So, and I just pulled up. I just pulled up where they are going to be host. Where the schools who going to be host schools and stuff. Oh wow. I just now seen that in the group chat. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it in a minute too. So the NAIA Men's Basketball Championship host institutions will be Arizona Christian, which is in Chandler, Arizona, Columbia, Missouri, Cumberland, Kentucky, Freed, Hardeman, which is in Henderson, Tennessee, Friends, Kansas, which is in Wichita, Kansas, Georgetown, University of Kentucky, Grace, I guess it's Grace, Indiana, Grace College, Indiana, from Winona Lake, Indiana, Hope International University, which is in Fullerton, California, Huntington College, which is in Huntington, Indiana, Indiana Wesleyan, in Marion, Indiana, Langston, over of course in Langston, Oklahoma. LSU Shreveport is a host city. Shreveport, Louisiana. Now this used to be called Southwest Assemblies of God University, but they renamed it Nelson University, which is in Waxahachie. Northwestern College in Iowa, that is in Orange City, Iowa, Oklahoma Wesleyan in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and Rocky Mountain College in Billings, Montana. So those are the host cities locations for the NAIA men's tournament. I'm gonna get on to the women in a minute, but we don't know. I think they make their I think they have their selection show. Let me see.
Yeah, NAIA, we need you to update when you're gonna have the selection show on your site. Because I'm on the site trying to find the selection show date.
The selection show would be March 5th for the men's. March 5th, it'll be on their YouTube page. And that is
My bad. That was in the first paragraph. My bad.
That's Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm. Thursday the 5th.
It's Thursday. So yeah, we go. Oh yeah, Thursday. Make sure y'all tune in to Fat Mouth Sports. We're gonna have a watch party on Thursday because that is the end of basketball for the SWAC. Everybody is playing, so we'll have that. Come on over there. We're gonna start off at 7:00.
Yeah, 7:00 Central, 8:00. Wait, hold on. We got to start.
Yeah.
We're gonna start an hour early because I think that game starts at 7. Hold on.
Okay, so we start an hour early. That's good for me because I get off at 6. So I get
Yeah,
off
we'll
work.
start an hour early because the women play at 5:30, and then the men will play usually about 7. Usually about 7, somewhere around there. So we'll start early. Worst case scenario, we'll catch the end of the women's game. Y'all will be able to see me crash out. So there's that.
So yeah, we'll tune in on that, and we'll have the link for that on we'll have that set up on Wednesday night, Thursday. We'll put it out there on Twitter. But yeah, on the men's side, like I said, Langston, who lost their conference tournament championship to Oklahoma City, is still going to get in. Still going to get in. All right. They'll still get in. Look at Langston's women. I think Langston's women they'll be in also, because of them winning the conference regular season. Look for Suno. Suno will be in the. Look for Suno to get in also. And last but not least, on the men's side, and last but not least, Rust College on the women's side should be having their name called to get into the women's tournament. But like I said, if you tuned in last night to Urban Edge Network and watched the tournament finals on both games, those games basically were exciting. Came down to the wire. Suno went into overtime with Tougaloo. Hey man, you missed. They got replay on there though. They got replay. But it was sight to see. Next year for the conference tournament, they will be here in Dallas, where Paul Quinn is the host institution. They have a partnership with the Dallas Sports Commission, but also with Dallas Independent School District, where some of the games will be, they will have some of the games be held on at different spots. The championship game will be at Ellis Davis Fieldhouse for the men, I think, and then on the women's side it will be at Paul Quinn. And if you have not been to Paul Quinn yet, if you haven't checked out their basketball gym, it is a sight to see. It is a sight to see, especially the court. The court is a sight to see. And the best thing about this is getting the people to come out and and interact, and they're gonna have a lot of things going on for they have a lot of things that week as far as college fairs and certain different things going on that week. Yeah. Tougaloo did not go down easy. Whew. Tougaloo did not go down easy. They were ooh man. Them boys was them boys were going at it. Them boys were going at it. But shout out to Tougaloo College, man. Shout out to them Bulldogs from North Jackson. They had a went into overtime. Shout out to shout out to Jalen Hicks for Suno. Just a freshman, 6'5" freshman from New Orleans, from Carver High School in New Orleans. He was balling. He was balling. Huh?
He didn't come to play. He came to work.
He came to work. They won 5. They have won 5 in a row. He went to work. I got the box scores right here. Cool. I don't know. We might hear Tougaloo's name get called. I don't know how if we'll have two from the men's side get called, but it all depends. Jalen Hicks had 12 points, 2 steals, 9 rebounds. 4 of them was offensive. Dorian Booker, the 7-footer, the junior 7-footer, had 26 of them things, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks.
Is that the one from Tallahassee?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Number 15. You was like,
don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, they got a 7-footer. That wasn't my issue. It was, oh, they got 2.
They got 2 of them.
That's when I was like, all right, I need some birth certificates. We need to call AD Matthews, get him on the show. Say, hey, man, where the birth certificates at?
You know what? Let's ask Danny that. See if we get Coach on the show again. Oh, he from Schuylerville. The other dude, okay. number 13, I think is yeah, Doran from Schuylerville High School. Yeah, he from Baton Rouge. Mr. Emmett, you said what I like about it. So the court caught the essence. The picture on the court reminded everybody that is black that you couldn't go to downtown Dallas when back in the 20s and the 30s like that if you were black. They wouldn't even let you into downtown. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why. But Tougaloo did not. They didn't shy away from nothing. Cause they was hooping also. They was hooping also. So
Hey, look, Jamal gonna get me punched in the face when I go in the house because my other computer got Twitter on it. You ain't seen it yet, but yeah, it's. So, I forgot. Remember I was telling y'all about the retired drug dealer outfits? This it?
Yeah, the one that you said that the blonde haired lady got you.
Yeah, this one on. She pissed off on barbecuing outside with it on, so she looking some kind of way.
But it's like 85 degrees outside.
I can't wear what I've been wearing the last 3 weeks. So this was in the drawer. So I was like, let me pull this out real quick. It's cool. It's cool, but I don't know what she complaining. It's still like 8 outfits that ain't been worn from football season. Shout out to Sheen.
I didn't even know if I could fit anything from Sheen.
It's so 2 things. During this little journey with this diabetes thing, this medication had me dropping like weight fast. I'm almost down to 55 pounds now. Since March of last year. So that's 1. 2, I'm cool with us wearing like similar colors, but we ain't got to match. She don't feel the same way I do. And I don't feel like arguing, so I just go along with it. But you wanna talk about that? You want to talk about that interview that's been set up that Jamal that I put in the group chat?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, Emmett, I lost 55 pounds because I'm on diabetes medication and they put me on Jardiance. And Jardiance is for real. I see why if it wasn't for insurance, it'd be $2,000.
Yeah.
But no, man. So I'm trying to figure out, right? Somebody gotta make me understand. If I got beef with a dude and we ain't settle our issues in the street, since he ran up and slapped me, and I ain't taking no sides. Since he ran up and slapped me, if I agree to an interview, believe it's a setup. Believe it's gonna be some other people in the building. I'm gonna get my
look for it.
Yeah. So, wow. So just know, I don't think this interview gonna go to where they think it's gonna go. Especially when Tony Rock talking about it's a bunch of us. We outside looking for him. I don't know.
Man, I'll be honest with you on that. Like I said, the coach took up for his guy. I mean, that's what a coach is supposed to do.
Oh, you talking about? Hold on, I was talking about the Will Smith thing. Hold on.
That one. Oh, it be. I'm sorry. It be some furniture moving because I still ain't forgot about that shit.
That is
like we supposed to be homeboys. We supposed to be homeboys, and you gonna try to but you slapped me on national TV in front of the world.
It's so much to that, right? Now that I'm thinking about it later on, like in the moment, I felt some type of way. But let's say your wife you and your wife going through it, and everybody know it, it's public knowledge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You still, under no circumstances, do you put a man in the situation that where his wife look at him and go, "You gonna do something?"
Yeah.
Because
it's like mind control right there.
I'm 100%. I'm gonna crash out about mine if the situation called for it. Now, yes, everybody, is $500 million in the room and all of that stuff. But I am here to tell you, I don't want nobody to put my wife in a situation where she might want to act up. So I try to diffuse the situation. But you can't put a man in a situation where your woman, man, whatever, looking at you sideways, looking at you crazy.
But you know what though? It's not. It's the fact that she looked at him sideways, like, "What you gonna do?" But also, it's the fact that it's like he took some of your masculinity out of the whole picture too.
Oh, she was doing a whole bunch, on they.
Like,
I don't think they do their red table stuff no more. But she
they don't. No.
But
even with after that, they don't.
Even with all of that, you still can't, especially if you know me and you know my situation, you can't on national TV, and this is another thing people need to understand. You can't embarrass people in public and expect them not to react. You embarrass that man on national TV. I wouldn't want to be embarrassed in a Publix, let alone on national TV. So you put that man in a situation at the same time, play devil's advocate.
Chris Rock.
You can't run up on stage and slap another black man on national TV. You could have, you know what? We're going to leave. And then away from the cameras, of course, security would have been involved by that time, but away from the cameras, let me holler at you. Where I'm from, let me holler at you is usually followed by 2 fists. So away from the cameras, you don't have all of this stuff going on with 2 black men. I don't know how this interview gonna turn out. Nothing good can come from this interview.
This shit gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild because it's just because I'm saying like after all that he done been quiet. I mean, he done came out. He did some he did some freestyles, some music and stuff like that. But at the same time, man, I think he just want to live a peaceful life. But you can't do it. But you can't do it because you got this person right here, and that's your wife. That's supposed to be your wife. Still mourning somebody who died. What, 30 years ago?
Be careful who you marry. Be careful who you date. Right?
Yeah.
And believe people when they tell you who they are. I'm trying to be gentle on this, but ain't no way I can be in a marriage with someone who is in love with a dead man. Because it ain't no room for me.
Right.
So it's a lot to unpack. I don't know how this interview, like I said, I don't know how this interview gonna go. But I'm gonna watch.
The interview gonna be crazy.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch like it's the NBA finals. Because it can go really good or it can go real left.
Right.
So
now the interview for tomorrow.
Yes. So tomorrow we have Coach Vaughn from from Grambling State that's going to be on. It's going to be at 6:00 tomorrow. And basically we're going to talk about Grambling basketball. I'm gonna tell y'all why I still owe Cat one. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about this Grambling basketball. I talked to him earlier and kind
Coach
of
Vaughn, or you talking about Coach Crary?
Oh no, Coach Vaughn. I talked to Coach
Vaughn.
Right? Yeah, the track coach. I talked to Coach
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn. I talked to him on Twitter yesterday, and I talked to him on the phone today. And I wanted to call him and let him know, because we were one of the first people, or I was one of the first people to post the meme, because it was an iconic meme. And I wanted him to know that all the other stuff, because what people don't know is being in this HBCU space, we are rabid fans.
Yeah.
But we also will habitually line step. And to talk to an HBCU coach or about an HBCU coach, like he just some random dude that's okay with racism, is wild.
Right.
His dad is a Morehouse man. Like he basically just like me. He also like the Florida State Seminoles too, which we both kind of agree we in some down times. But some of the flack that he was getting was crazy. Like all the racial stuff, the dog whistles, that was unnecessary. And a lot of y'all that was making your little comments, looking at your track squads, some white boys on there too. So let's just tone that down.
Sure is.
So, but we're gonna talk about Grambling track. What his outlook was on, or what is kind of recapping the indoor season, and what his outlook is for the outdoor season. And then also when we was talking, he was also recruiting. So we'll kind of talk and see what type of players he wants to bring in for the program. So we'll talk about that. I kind of want people to get to know the coach, the man, as opposed to just this guy on Twitter. Because a lot of times we don't personalize or we dehumanize the coach because this is just Coach so-and-so. No, that's a real person. So we're going to try and get to know the guy as opposed to just the coach. So that's going to be fun tomorrow. And we still will have the regular show at 8:00, but I just wanted to make sure that we got Coach on. I didn't want to have a situation where because of the schedule we didn't get him on. So, I'll get some extra Z's and make sure I look good and pepper when I interview him. So I don't look like I'm tired, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Now,
I'll be at work, but I'll tune in for it too. I might jump in a little bit, probably go on my lunch break and talk about some things. But
Emmett, I'm gonna say this with grace. Well, I'm gonna tell you the story first. About, I think it was 2012. So yeah, 2012. Back when I met when I was dating Ash Mama, I got a box suite at the Tampa Bay Times Forum. It's called Emily Arena now in Tampa, but back then it was Tampa Bay Times Forum. I got a box suite for what was then called concert season. So you will get like Jill Scott, Britney Spears, Fleetwood Mac. It was a bunch of different concerts. Did y'all hear that? You don't hear that? Okay, cool. So I got a box suite, and it's not, the box suite for concert season is way less than it is for like a hockey season. So like for a hockey season, it was like $80,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for concert season, it was like a fourth of that. So I got my money, got me a box suite, got my name on the door, my company name on the door. It was like a proud moment. And the first night was Cat Williams and his little crew that he was traveling with back then. Now remember, the day before he had slapped the dude in Target.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
But they said everything was fine. He was on his way. It was all good. So all my people was there, and a couple people I charged because I ain't know them. So I charged them for, the ticket or whatever. And the Emily Arena, put out a nice spread. All the little snacks or whatever you can eat. We had 2 bottles, 3 bottles, and then, all the chaser and sodas and all that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
So my little wife was there. My other homeboy wife was there. The girl I was dating with at the time was there. And Ash mama friend was a stripper.
Oh, Lord.
And she came dressed like she was going to work. Mind you, most of my friends are conservative Christians, not like Republican conservative. I'm just saying like conservative Christians. This didn't go well. So I was hoping the lights hurry up and go down so she'll sit down and we can get the show going. Why Cat ain't show up? So when you get a box suite,
was that
you
when he went to jail?
Yeah, this is when he went to jail. So the other crew said they would go on, but this temp their times for him. If the headliner don't go on, ain't nobody going on. He wasn't there at sound check, so it was already an issue an hour before. So my sales rep come in and she said, look, if he don't show up in the next 30 minutes, I'll be back. I said, okay. Mind you, the stripper girl had started dancing. Mother wife, one of my home girls from Florida State, and a couple other people was looking at me crazy. And I'm like trying to ask mama, like, hey, can you holler at your friend? She's like, no, I cannot. And she went and sat down. Not necessarily Pentecostals, but I think one of them was Church of God in Christ. So that's all going on. And then my sales rep come back and say, yeah, Cat's not showing up. He's not even in the city. So we're gonna they don't refund you or prorate anything. They just give you a credit on your next event so you get more food or whatever. So I paid them people back out my pocket.
Oh, wow.
So from 2012, I think I might have forgave him in 2021. But from 2012 to 2021, if I'd have seen Cat Williams on the street, I'd have had to get me some help for his security, but I would have slapped the shit out of him. That was my first big night. My sign, when you feel like you done did something, that was my first big night. Like my company name was on the door with a bunch of other companies. And I felt like that was my moment, and Cat fucked up my moment, man. Yeah, and he owed me.
The stripper girl didn't mess up your moment.
I went to church that next day. I went to church.
Ooh,
and that's all everybody in the pew was talking about.
Oh,
who is that girl? That's Melissa's friend. Well, Ash Mama friend. That's Ash Mama friend. So yeah. Cat messed up my moment, but it was all right though, because the next event was Nuclear Cowboys, the little motorcycle group, they jumping all that stuff. So I just basically called up everybody and was like, just bring your kids down. It's on me. Don't worry about nothing. So we had everybody, kids come down. We only were supposed to have like 13 people in the box. We had like 22 people in the box. They ain't care because people had their kids or whatever. So they ain't, Tampa Bay Times didn't say nothing. We was cool. So it all worked out. But boy,
Cat Williams about catch that smoke.
Whew. If Cat would have caught me walking to the car from the arena, I'm talking about I had smoke. Them text messages was on fire. Where you know her from? I don't know her.
She just showed up.
Her name was Ashley the Stallion. That was her. I don't know her real name. That was her Facebook name. Ashley the Stallion.
Oh Lord.
I think she moved to Atlanta at some point. I just don't remember when.
She probably had
By now she should be retired. I ain't gonna. All right. So this between us. When I met up with her to get her money because she was paying for her and her dude, she gave me like a bunch of ones. I think I want to say they paid like $150, something like that. But it was all like ones and fives. And I was making jokes about I don't work on the pole. And Melissa was like, shut up. If you don't tell me, I don't know. So I just, I naturally make jokes. But that was a time. That was a time. That was absolutely a time.
Well, hey, I ain't never seen Cat Williams perform, but last person I've seen perform comedy show was who was it? I think it was Chico Bean. Was it Chico? Yeah, Chico Bean, and then before that it was Carlos. Them two was funny.
Actually, I think it was DL.
I didn't ready for them to come back.
I think I saw last one was DL Hughley at the Improv in Tampa. And do not sit in the first 8 rows or in the first row up top.
Oh yeah,
because he don't care that you up top. He gonna have them turn up the lights, and he gonna get active and start talking about people.
See, but let's go ahead, man. We you know what? We had not talked about the MEAC really not once, because I guess we leave it to the other show, HBCU Nightly, to cover the MEAC. So, but on the men's side, on the men's side, I'm looking at it. I think it's coming down between Howard and I'm thinking Norfolk on the men's side. But we can go ahead and dip into that. In fact, everybody playing right now. Morgan defeated Norfolk earlier today, 90-84. Howard is up big on Coppin State, 80-58 with 4.5 minutes left in the second half. North Carolina Central is up by 3 against Maryland Eastern Shore, 62-59 with 3:20 left in the second half. And South Carolina State is down 4 against Delaware State, 54-50 with 5:15 left in the second half. But we can go ahead and
I'm about to say something, and I don't say this lightly. Don't count Morgan State out
in basketball.
In basketball, they're second in the conference, 9-4.
Yeah, 9-4.
One game behind Howard, and they beat Howard this year.
Okay, yeah.
I know it's Howard. I know. But between Howard, Norfolk State, and Morgan could cause some issues.
They could cause some issues. They could catch some issues, but they still can't get past Norfolk to save their life.
No, that's gonna be the test. If they get past Howard, and I don't know how the bracket is gonna come out, but if they get past Howard and have to meet Norfolk in the final or have to meet Norfolk in the semis, but they might have a shot. They might, if please, for the love of God, tune in the Banks if they win the MEAC.
Oh, he is gonna have a fucking field day.
Him and you know what? MEAC Mike will come off vacation, and start talking about how his school is great again.
Well, you gotta Howard can win the MEAC with the win against Norfolk. What's going on, sis? They can win the MEAC with a win against Norfolk State on the men's side. And Morgan has to lose their last game. That's Howard can win the MEAC outright. Because they only play 14 games in the MEAC. On the women's side, it's Howard. It's Howard and nobody else.
I don't even recall who they lost to.
So Howard plays. So last game of the season on the women's side, Howard plays Norfolk. Eastern Shore plays Delaware State. Eastern Shore is 17-13. Norfolk is 16-12, and everybody else is just coming up the rear. But outright on the women's side, the MEAC regular season champion, the MEAC regular season title on the women's side. So, if Howard women loses to Norfolk on Thursday, it would be a share of the MEAC title. But I think Howard had on the tiebreaker. And hey, they've been winning. They on a 10-game winning streak right now. Who's better? Howard's women, Alabama A&M's women. I give it to A&M. I give it to the Lady Bulldogs, but Howard, the Lady Bison, is something else.
I think I struggle with this only because Howard has the ability to play both physical and what I call the beautiful game. They can move without the ball. Alabama A&M just grit and grind. They wear you down. Like I watched a first quarter, I'm like, oh, they got a match. And then in the second quarter, the doors are blown open.
Yep.
They are just a grit and grind type team. So yeah, we're gonna get to that, Emmett. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we get to that. Yep. On the women's side of the OVC, they start their tournament on Wednesday. And on the women's side, Tennessee State did not make it. So
I'm sorry, y'all. I just saw Kelsey Plum get fouled all the way around the 3-point line, and she just drained the 3 for the game.
Oh, you're watching our rival.
I feel like the most physical women's team in the SWAC is Valley.
Valley.
They don't have the experience in the hoopers like Alabama A&M does. But I watched 3 of their games. You go into that thing with, hey, especially at home, yeah, you in a dog fight. You gonna leave there knowing you was in a fight.
Valley has played some close games, losing to Alcorn by 3 early in the last month, in the beginning of February. Not gonna take away the blowout loss they took from Alabama A&M. And the other blowout loss, because they done got blown out 3 times in February. January, it seemed like they tried to find something, but it's like when you look at it, in some of these games, so like when they played Pine Bluff when they played Pine Bluff in January the first time, they could have won that game. They only lost by 2.
Can we talk about how Pine Bluff started the season off with a bang and then it just didn't materialize?
On the women's side?
On the women's side. I thought they was going to be a top 2 team.
I mean, but they still, when you look at it though, Coach Leak has done she's done a remarkable job, agreeing, saying, this is her second year as the head coach of the team. And what she had, the first season, what she had to go through to get the team together, because remember, once Dawn left, they left to go to Alabama to the Crimson Tide. Karai Beck, most of those girls that was on that team at Pine Bluff are playing right now at Alabama A&M. Khalil Walker, that I think she was on the Pine Bluff team also.
Yeah.
But you look at it like Valley could have had overall, Valley could have had like 10, 11 wins right now.
Yeah.
They probably in conference play, they probably should have about 9 conference wins instead of the 5.
I can agree with that.
And just because they play with this, they get up on you early, but it's like in the second half, it seems like they run out of gas. And the crazy thing is they don't have not one player they have not one player in double figures in scoring.
They just grinding it out. Like I said, they get some hoopers in there. Sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I can see how you could be frustrated, but if you look at them games, you can't be frustrated. Them girls compete. I'm sorry, them young ladies compete. they compete night in and night out. So
Mhm.
it's one of them teams where the record don't reflect how hard they work. But for early prediction, Charles,
On the
I'm
women's side,
I'm gonna start with Alabama A&M. Outside of them, maybe Southern. That's it. They've dominated the league all season. They got the fashion forward coach. They got the best record. I mean,
they're on a 15-game winning streak.
and
Going
that
into
19
tomorrow.
that 19-9 record going into the tournament, should they pull it off? Right? Should they pull it off? I don't want to see nothing about no goddamn playing game. For the right now, it's still, let's wait till the tournament, right? And the reason I'm saying wait till the tournament, because you already got these, I'm gonna call them talking heads so I don't get in trouble. You already got these talking heads on these 3 and 4 letter networks talking out their behind. Right?
Yep.
Regular season matters. The tournament matters. You play the season so that when you get in the tournament and you win or you fall, that's your body of work. This whole, do we want the most deserving team or the best team? Well, did the most deserving team beat you? Because if you got beat by the most deserving team, that's the better team. The better team won the conference. That's why we have at-large bids. No, you don't get to have a 1 seed if you've been middle of the road in the conference the whole season and then lose in the conference tournament. You don't get to do that.
But you know they're gonna do it though.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna do it because it's HBCUs and they just want to see me cuss. Emmett, I will give you all the thoughts on that school in Daytona on Friday. It's Alley Cat Hate Week. I ain't saying nothing nice about them because every time I say something nice about them, something bad happens. So I ain't saying nothing nice about them this week. Friday, I might say something nice. But if they lose on Thursday, talk to me nice on Friday. But I think all jokes aside though, there was a Bruce Pearl had said something, and then somebody decided that they want to
let's talk about
make a
let's talk about that because this motherfucker was talking outside of his neck.
Well, I'm gonna get to that, but somebody decided that they wanted to put up a tweet and call Bethune-Cookman a bad team because Auburn lost to Florida. You ain't have to put Cookman in that. You ain't have to put Cookman in that at all. Yeah. EA, I agree, but I also say this. If you are in the regular tournament and you get a win, more money. Yeah, we're about to talk about that, Emmett, because Miami of Ohio, which is the only Miami that I can tolerate, beat the people in front of them. That's all you can do.
Yep.
If you in the SEC and you don't like what you're seeing, you had ample opportunity because basketball schedules are a lot more flexible than football schedules. You had plenty of opportunity to go, you know what? Let me put them on the schedule. And then you could have been cheering on everybody else in the MAC that Miami of Ohio was beating. Nobody wants to hear that crybaby stuff. And Bruce Pearl, hey lady, Bruce Pearl, for a man who should not be coaching in college basketball. Because I don't know where you get to go to work and your job say, we need you to meet with the attorneys, and you say, nah, I'm straight. All right. Okay. So, yeah. And did he give his son a job?
Yeah, he gave his son a job. He gave his son the job at Auburn.
I'm not saying that he don't know basketball. Don't get me wrong. But I also know when you get up there and start putting on for the audience, because let's be honest, TNT, CBS, ESPN, do they really want to see Miami of Ohio win a national championship? Hell, to be honest, I don't think they really wanted to be a Big 12 school. I think they wanted to be an ACC school or a SEC school or even a Big 10 school. The last thing they want to see is teams that they really ain't trying to promote to win it. And God forbid it, HBCU get in and win 4. Oh, Jesus. I just want somebody to win 4 games in the tournament so they can take my Twitter account, because they're going to have to. I'm going to absolutely
So to go back to what you were saying, Troy. So go back to what you were saying. You said that regular season matters. You said regular season matters. You said the tournament matters. So let's go back to let's go back to let's go back to the HBCU Athletic Conference and their tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we ain't got to Dawn yet. The best team in the HBCU Athletic Conference was Tougaloo.
Yeah.
Out of the whole time. Second best team in the conference was Philander Smith. Third best team in the conference. The third best team in the conference was Stillman. Stillman was on the east side. Tougaloo and Philander Smith was on the west. Suno, who was fourth, in conference, right? Who was fourth in a division, ended up winning the whole thing.
You know what?
And they had to go through. They beat Fisk on what was the 25th? What was last Wednesday?
Yeah.
or last Thursday, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn around, they beat Stillman, who was the number one team on the East division of the conference tournament, of the conference. They beat the number 5 team out the East. They beat the number 1 team out the East. They beat the number 2 team out the West, and they beat the number 1 team out the West for a whole conference championship, which they have not won. Which that's not even have not won. It's their first time winning the conference since they brought basketball back.
So, in that South division or in that West division, the top 2 teams in 19 had 19 wins. That's top
had 19
teams.
wins. That was
Nobody,
and Brandon Smith.
Yeah, nobody in the East had 19 wins.
Stillman was the only one that had 18.
Mm-hmm. So this is why I say the regular season matters, because you look at that West division, you're like, they done been through the crucible. They done been through the fight. The East had something to prove, even though they're ranked higher, they still had something to prove. Your regular season, that's part of what matters. And then if the reason that your conference tournament matters is because you're going to play the same style of tournament when you get to the big dance.
Mm-hmm.
So for people to sit down, oh, the conference championships don't matter. You saying that because you don't want to see your favorite teams get knocked off in the conference championships. Somebody posted the epic Wake Forest run in the ACC championship, and Randolph.
You talk about you reach out teach with Randolph.
That was an epic run.
Tim Duncan was on that. Tim Duncan was on that team.
Tim Duncan was on that team, and I don't know why he was playing that night. Because
he was on that
Wake
team.
Forest gave North Carolina that work through one man, Randolph Childress. I think he had the most points in a tournament run that year. Hey, listen, tournaments tell you everything about a team. Remember, nobody was checking for UConn. Nobody was checking for UConn. And then that boy got hot. Kemba Walker got hot.
He got hot they got hot at the right time, because remember they had to win what, 5 games? They had to win 5 games in 5 days.
So your regular season matters, but your tournament matters more because it's a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Championships are always going to matter more. The regular season is just going to be like, okay, what we saw in the tournament, let's see if that aligns with what we saw during the season. And if it doesn't, that just tell you, oh, this team hot. That's all it tell you. People want to play the seed game and, oh, I want this. No, man. You got to win games, man. Like, we got to stop this everybody get a trophy crap. No. Get in here this gym. Get this work. Otherwise, go home. You can crochet or do something else. You ain't got to be out here, man. That's just it. Please, Lord, somebody invent a Nerf bus.
Like we said, we were talking about with the HBCU Athletic Conference on the West side. The top 4 teams, one from Mississippi, the other from Arkansas, and 2 is damn near down the street from each other in Louisiana. Because Dillard was the other team that had a better record, and they had won 16 games. So what they tell you, and say a team that They brought basketball back in 2022. And was it 21, 22? Yeah, I think it's 22. That's what coach told me.
And
4 years they have won the conference tournament.
And again, and this is where I struggle, right? Because whenever it's a black conference and it don't matter the level, if you have a conference full of teams that have been hooping, somebody gonna get left out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why winning your conference is important. Because if you handle business, you don't put your fate in the hands of people who got biases.
Bruce Pearl. Yeah, let's get back to him because he got biased. He said what he said. He said that Miami, Ohio wouldn't even did this if they would have had if you flipped them with a P4 schedule, they would not be going undefeated. But you don't know that though.
This ain't the first time Miami of Ohio had talent. Like, let's stop acting like they ain't had talent before. They've had talent.
I'm about to say the last person I seen that had a run like that was Wally Zerbiak when he was on the team.
They've had talent. So just because they're in the mid, see, they like using little catchphrases and stuff. Mid-major. This basketball. This ain't football. It's not. And we in a whole different era of sports now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all going, and I like it, but I kind of don't like it. I like it because keep talking about these people. Keep talking about these people churn. They're going to mess around and give you that work. Oh, shoot. Give me 1 second. I got to go check this meat. I'll be right back.
Bruce Pearl.
Oh, wait. I got to say pause. I guess I got to say pause because y'all be doing that shit. Pause.
Bruce Pearl, sit your old ass down somewhere and just keep being a hypocrite because that's what you are. Let's get down to it. We talking about the SWAC women's side, man. Look, them Bama, the Alabama and them Lady Bulldogs, 15 in a row. Dawn Thornton, she's going to be up for Coach of the Year in the conference. I can just see it. I can smell it. I can just feel it. Them Lady Bulldogs been hooping. They've been hooping. There's nothing you could take away from them. They've been hooping. 19-9, 15-game winning streak, 15-1 in conference play. If they win their last two games, they are bound. They will tie for the most wins in a season again, which they won 21 last season. But she can get into the conference tournament, have a double bye in the conference tournament, and really just wreck shop. Just chill out. Rest your players. But I'm one of those types where give me one day, but we gotta get back on the saddle. Because I can't oversee the whole thing. Y'all played tomorrow. We everybody play tomorrow. Most people play tomorrow, and then the rest of them play on Sunday. I mean on Thursday. So yeah. Getting a double bye. Oh, the tournament? Yes. So the tournament starts on the 9th. So they will more likely, yes, they will play on March 11th. They'll play on March 11th at 11 a.m. So here's one thing. I think I say this with what Mr. Ford was talk about last year. I think they should if Alabama A&M is the number one team, they need to be. I think you put the 1 seed on the bottom bracket because if they're the number 1 seed and have that 5:30 tip off time, it's much better to watch the team in prime time than to watch them early in the morning. March 11th is on Wednesday. So the tournament starts on Monday. It goes all the way up until Saturday. And that's just on the women's side. On the men's side,
I think, fam, you locked up the double bye already.
if they win tomorrow, I mean, they win the last 2 games, then I think they can get the double bye. Because where they sitting at number 3?
Second. Second, I don't know.
Yeah, the first four teams, the first 4 spot get a double bye. The the 7th. So okay, here I'm looking at. So I'm looking at it like this. So on Wednesday, not Wednesday, but on Monday, the 10th and 11th seed go at each other, and then the 9th and the 12th seed go at each other. And then whoever wins out of that, they either play the winner of the 8th seed or the winner of the 7th seed. So the 7th seed and the 8th seed get a bye. So on Wednesday, the 1 seed and the 2 seed, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the top 6 seeds get a double bye. If I'm looking at it correct.
Yep.
So the top 6 seeds get a double bye. The next 2 seeds, the 7th and the 8th seed, get a single bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9 through 12 has to play on Monday.
It's gonna be interesting.
So that's 12.
Mm-hmm.
So if you on the 9th seed, that means if you want to get to the championship game, you have to play 5 games in 5 days.
Mr. White, I promise you there is a mixer going on. If there isn't one officially scheduled, somebody gonna say, let's meet up.
Somebody gonna make something out of there.
Because we did, I don't like go out like that. During the Celebration Bowl, we did the rounds. Oh, Coach Jackson also was nominated for Man of the Year too this year.
So the winner of game game 1 plays the winner of game 3, that will be the A seed. And then whoever wins out of that one, the winner of game 3 will play in game 5, which is the 1 seed. And then on the bottom of the bracket, the winner of game 2 will play the win in game 4, the 7th seed. And then the winner of game 4 will play in game 6. That would be the 2 seed. So 3 and 6 and 5 and 4 would play each other, but they get a double bye. So y'all already know how this is gonna end up on how it's gonna be on Thursday. It's gonna be chaos because everybody's gonna try to figure out what kind of bracket we gonna have.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna see what type of bracket we gonna have. But this makes sense. It does make sense. It does make sense. And if you're a team that you think you can get to that, you get to the 3rd day,
you might be a problem because you hot.
You hot. If you can get to the especially if you are the bottom seeds. If you that 9th seed and you fit, you can get to that 3rd day. The only thing that's gonna play that's not gonna be in your hands is attrition. It will, because you done play 3 days. You will play 3 games in 3 days.
Recovery time is going to be the most important thing for coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Get them players done, get them food, and then getting them rested. That's going to be the most important thing.
And the thing we don't want to see is anybody. I want to see no major injuries in it, at all.
If you're in Atlanta and you ain't got to work for them early games, head down there.
Yep.
Even if it ain't your school, just head down there.
Because you know what, it will be spring break around that time too, if I'm not mistaken.
Take your kids, fill the place up. I won't be there till probably Thursday, but take your kids, because when I get there Thursday, it's gonna be all business, all gas, no brakes. Only because I missed last year. So and apparently Marlo said we flying everywhere now.
See.
We ain't driving no 12 hours nowhere.
Yeah, that is a long drive for y'all from Tampa to Atlanta.
Well, what did it was when we came back from Media Day from Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
It took us through the back roads and then dropped us off just south of Atlanta. Marlo drive back roads, but he don't drive Alabama back roads. So he used to doing 150 to get home. Can't do that back there.
No, not on 400. not on 400. So more likely the way if it goes this way, you should be on when the brackets come out. Number 1 and number 2 on the women's side more likely will be Alabama A&M at Alcorn. You got Southern sitting at number 3, and you have Pine Bluff sitting at 4. So you think about it. If you could finish in the top, if you could finish in the top 6 of the conference, you are sitting pretty. So that means, guess what? You don't have to come to your team don't have to come to Atlanta until probably what, Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Because if you coming in on Wednesday, guess what? Unless you play later on in the evening, then that's cool. But if you play in the morning, you coming Tuesday night. Yep.
On the men's side, you got more than like you'll see. You ought to have, of course, number 1 would be Bethune-Cookman. And then number 2, like what you said if it holds out that way, it will be who?
If it holds out that way. And I haven't worked out the scenarios because remember, there are games that happen on Thursday as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if a loss has a factor in that top 5 seed moving around for FAMU. I don't know. But a win locks it in.
Yeah.
And since them Beach Cats hollering about they done locked everything up, they just coming to Tallahassee for fun. Keep that same energy. Because remember that loss in Daytona went down to the wire.
Yeah.
So, and that was without the big men. So, it's going to be interesting.
Because Bethune only got one game left.
For everybody asking, we do not know what's going on with Dr. Bradley. I've reached out, and I was not told injury. I was just told we don't know. So it could very well be that Bethune-Cookman is trying to make sure the NCAA don't try and screw them by trying to penalize them for playing a player that appealed and got his rights to play in court. Because, you know, they're talking about taking away.
Uh-oh. Sure.
Playing. But that's just me.
Uh-oh. Now, what you said, because you kind of went out for a second.
Oh, my bad. I would like to see Dr. Bradley playing. Because he is a great talent.
Yep.
And, you know, especially if they make the tournament, that's 3 steals a game and probably 12 points. So definitely want to see him play.
Yeah.
You know who we did not talk about? The SIAC.
Oh, let's get into that because I know they tournament starts this week also.
I thought it started today, but
it started today.
That's what the website made it look like. They had a 1 o'clock game today.
Let me see. I'm about to look at it right now.
Yeah, Benedict over Lane.
Yeah, that was on Friday.
Friday.
Well, Saturday was it? Friday. Yeah.
So I don't know. And again, I will be transparent. Their website is a little confusing.
Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, and Tuskegee and Miles, they dominated in the side this season.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they dominated.
Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know their region ranking. I'll send Liv some tweets so I can have it ready for Thursday. But I wonder if they'll get 2 or 3 bids for this league. And if you think the men had an outstanding season, Edward Waters on the women's side, dear Father God.
They the number 1 seed, wasn't
it? Mm-hmm.
So I got their bracket right now. So, because they started Friday, and then they had the whole break.
See, a little confusing for me.
Yeah, they have a whole break. So Morehouse had a bye. Miles, Clark, and Tuskegee, they all had byes. Edward Waters on the men's side defeated Central State. So Morehouse and Central State go at it on Wednesday at the Clayton County Convocation Center. So yeah. So what they do is, so what it is that they don't do, everybody, they have they play their first round games at the host school. So like if you had one of the better records, then you host that game, the first round game, and then afterwards everybody goes to the main arena. So excuse me. Edward Waters defeated Central State, so they play Morehouse on Wednesday. Savannah State took out Kentucky State, so they will take on Miles on Thursday. Lamont On defeated Albany State by 2, 76-74. They will take on Clark Atlanta on Thursday. And Benedict took out Lane, like I said, 59-52. They will play Tuskegee on Wednesday. On the women's side, you got Edward Waters has a bye. Kentucky State took on Albany State. Albany State went into Kentucky State and defeated them 58-56. So Albany State and Edward Waters will play each other on Wednesday. Benedict took down Central State 63-58. Lane had a bye, so Benedict would take on Lane on Thursday. Tuskegee defeated Fort Valley 57-52. Clark had the other bye, so Tuskegee and Clark will go at it on Thursday. And then Allen blew out Spring Hill College 95-41. Miles had the last bye, so Miles and Allen will go at it on Wednesday. Yo, that's crazy.
Let me look at the rankings, the regional rankings.
Don't forget those lemon pepper wings.
So in the regional rankings in the women's, Edward Waters is number 3.
God, man. Yeah, Edward Waters was...
Edward Waters is 3. Florida Southern, which is here, is 10. University of Tampa, which Jamal talks about a lot because of the coach there.
Mm-hmm.
University of Tampa is number 9. So, and Eckerd, which is also is in St. Pete, is number 2. But of these D2 high power schools, Edward Waters is right there in the middle. Them ladies played their behind off this year.
They were 23-4 overall, 21-3 in conference play. They do start their conference out early as hell. That, and then I'm looking at the standings on the East. On the women's side, Edward Waters, Clark, Benedict, Allen, and Albany State
Yep.
were in a dogfight. And then on the West, it was Miles and Lane. Pretty much ran the West Division. I hate to say it, but it's gonna come down to the wire. I think it'll come down to the wire in the side. So, let's see what else we talk about. The state of Mississippi passes a bill that says that NIL money will not be taxed by the state. So that means you get most of your money, but you still got to get taxed by the government, by the federal.
Where you are in that tax bracket is important. This is why having a real team is important if you're talking about some serious money, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I find interesting, and Florida don't get a whole bunch right, but I bring it up a lot. The state of Florida, and I've searched everywhere, this is the only state that's doing this, is allowing teams to use their auxiliary funds from their endowment to pay for revenue share, which I don't think Mississippi, Texas, Arkansas, none of them allow you to do that right now. And it's not necessarily a bad thing that they don't allow it, because if we keeping it a buck, that move was made so certain bootskins can forget that he done pissed them off real bad about their president search.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of like something cool for them to be like, oh, look. And FAMU, because they're the only state HBCU, got to take advantage of that. But the tax-free thing helps, because if a kid is, fluctuating between going to California, going to a California school, or going to a Texas school, or going to a Mississippi school, that, what is it, 33%? That helps.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I just thought about? If NFL players get taxed when they go to California, how does that work for college players?
Mm-hmm. Because I know NFL, with NFL, they do their, the players will do their taxes before the season even start.
Yeah, if you know you're gonna play in California, go ahead and send them people that money. I guess it might not. I'll hit up Mitt tomorrow. I guess it really won't matter, because technically the players are employees and they aren't necessarily working when they go to California. So maybe that doesn't hurt them at all. And for everybody out there, I need y'all to pray for me. I've been asking that blonde haired lady, can we spend some extra money on a Monte Carlo? Right now, the answer is no, but I'm working on it. I would like to have a Monte Carlo for either homecoming of the Classic. If we was gonna have a Classic in Tampa, I was gonna get it anyway, and just ask for forgiveness later. But I don't want to burn up my good credit before football season starts. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna bring this up and I'm gonna do it in a clean way. To the estate of Michael Jackson. Fuck you. You knew exactly what you was doing when you put them 3 bands as part of your tribute for a movie that's coming out. I'm so sick of everybody. I don't know enough Southern people. I don't know if they showing out. I don't know. But I'm sick of it. Ain't nobody say, man, this is a beautiful tribute to Michael Jackson. It's a wonderful thing for HBCUs to do this tribute to Michael Jackson. It has become something else. And I'm sick of it. Everybody band is world renowned. Yes, I have some biases about the band that I love, but everybody band is world renowned. You ain't got to go to war over Michael Jackson. Relax. Y'all want to go to war over some shit? Stop them Peter on your eyes from playing neck. That's the shit we need to go to war over. Y'all letting LSU play neck. Sound like some old unseasoned macaroni and cheese with raisins in it. This is so bad. But it is absolutely bad.
But I still think the best band who did a tribute to Mike, the band that did the best tribute to Michael Jackson was Ohio State.
I was mad about them too.
I can't be mad about Ohio State because
they sound good. They sound good.
They sound good.
I know a lot of people don't like. I come from drum corps. Like if you check my feed way down, I got a picture of me when I was in drum corps. And a lot of them Ohio State kids have been in drum corps. So they it's about sound and moving around with them. I still don't like it. Not gonna like it, but they are the best one. So, but other than that, man, we got bigger fish to fry than arguing over goddamn Michael Jackson tributes. It's primary season. Get out to vote. If you don't have the ability to vote this primary, go down to your election office. You're going to have to physically go down there. Find out why you can't vote. They will and have to tell you. When they tell you why you can't vote, rectify the matter. If you owe some fines or something, there are organizations, if you file the paperwork, that will pay those fines for you. Especially if you're in Hillsborough or Pinellas County, they will give you the number to tell you what you need to do. I have in the past, not so much recently because I had a lot going on, but I would help convicted felons who going through the process of getting their rights back. Because you go through the process of getting your rights back, then you got to go through the process of getting registered. And that's a whole nother process. So I've helped convicted felons go through that process and get their right to vote back. So, and then when you do that, make sure you vote.
Yeah.
So that's stuff we need to be fighting about. We just lost Jesse Jackson. There's no reason to lose Jesse and not be voting.
We just ended our early voting process here in Texas, so I think there was a lot more people that came out to vote in early voting. Because like I said, of course, Jasmine Crockett is going for the Senate as Democrat, and the person who's taking over, who's trying to get her spot in the 30th congressional district here in Texas, will be Dr. Freddie Haynes,
Okay.
who is the pastor of Friendship West Baptist Church, and of course he's also real big into the marching for justice and standing up for justice and civil rights movement and stuff like that. Basically is in his blood. So we got to get those two on. We get those two on board. Get them on board. Let's get them. Let's get them into DC. Somebody just need to push Greg Abbott into the Gulf of Mexico. I ain't calling the Gulf of America. It's Gulf of Mexico. Shit. That's what I learned in school.
So that's for that poor man that got his feelings hurt.
Send our condolences out to the family of Dominic Ponder, who's quarterback at Colorado, who was killed in a car accident over the weekend. And we're still losing. We losing our young people too early. We using our young people too early. Just got news that in the trial of what's the guy's name, Rashawn, down there in Miami in Dade County.
Oh,
Rashawn Jones.
Yeah.
There was a mistrial.
I knew it
today. But at the end of the day, they're gonna retry it because it's too.
It's Florida. They're gonna automatically retry it.
You can't let it go fester off like that, though, man. You waited 15 years to catch the dude.
I want to blame Miami-Dade. I want to blame them so bad, right? I want to blame them so bad. But I also know that it was just luck that he got away with it. It was, oh my God, it was just luck. And I'm not saying that I don't have no dog in this fight. I want his family to seek justice. If he didn't do it, let's find out he didn't do it. If he did, let's find out he did do it. But anytime in Florida, they talk about the first 48. Anytime in Florida where it get past a month and they don't have no solid lead or no subject, it gets scary. Because they don't know who they're looking for, and it's a killer out there. So I can't blame Miami-Dade like I would normally blame them. Hey man, how you gonna call that foul on cam? You see she got her makeup on. She ain't even like that. Anyway, they're gonna retry him. And again, if they don't have the evidence, let him go. Mm-hmm. If they do, find them guilty. But when the jury start asking for all that information, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna go well. Not in Florida. In Florida, them juries be like, yeah, you guilty. And they was just asking for a whole lot of information. So I just want his family to be able to find some peace.
Yeah, man. It took y'all. They almost made it to a cold case, but
if it wasn't for ESPN, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna flip this because I'm gonna flip this. Real journalism matters. We are seeing companies, print media, who are now online media, closing their sports departments. Sports journalists figured out a cold case. Not the journalists in Miami who wake up and work down there every day. Sports journalists found this. And I found myself in a very precarious situation because I don't like people calling me media. It makes me, it's not a bad thing. It just make me cringe a little bit because it make me feel like I'm not following the truth, if you will. I'm just doing stuff for likes and clicks. And I don't want to be that. Yeah, I do some stuff because it's a hot topic, but I'm 53 years old. What's hot and doing stuff for clicks ain't really my thing. But when y'all gonna find out real soon behind this whole Rays stadium funding thing, y'all had to get in my journalism bag. I found out some stuff. Ooh, y'all think them property taxes going away or something?
And they not.
Here's what they propose, right? Everybody's raising hell about the property taxes, and the people who are regular buyers thinking it's a good thing. However, there is another bill that is in the House that has passed that if they pass getting rid of the property tax, there's another bill that becomes automatic that Floridians don't get to vote on at the ballot box. It becomes automatic. To replace the revenue from the property tax, your sales tax is going to start at 9%. And with counties, you can add, I want to say up to 1.5% on top of the state tax. So you're looking at 10.5 cents for every dollar of sales tax. So this lady broke it out for a $400,000 house. If you sell your house, you have to pay $40,000 in taxes before you even get to the realtor fees. And remember, it's two realtors. Two realtors get a cut of that sale. So you are essentially $50,000 to $60,000 in the hole when you sell your house. So that makes you impossible to sell the house. This is all bad. Because if you're young and trying to buy a house, this is all bad. It's just bad all the way around. So it's when you see how everything works, and I know if you saw me go back and forth with another podcaster, it's because I knew some of the stuff, but my people don't tell me when I'm right. They just get quiet. The sources that I'm able to go to, they just stop talking to me when I'm right. So then I got to dig a little deeper. And when people kept getting quiet, I kept digging. And it came to me on a TikTok. And I was like, this lady lying. And I pulled up the bill. So then I went down the whole St. Pete Times articles, and I was like, oh my God. But we'll get to that another on the Gathering the Old Men podcast. Just know voting is important. Local elections are important. That's where your political power comes from. Ask the Tea Party. The Tea Party, I say they started with dog catchers in Sarasota, but they really started on the school board level. That's where they started. School board level, Sarasota. And look where they got to now. Now they MAGA everywhere. So just know all elections matter. Vote your conscience and vote what's in the best interest of you and yours. And that is my TED Talk, as Lord Jamal would say.
But yeah, man, look, we're going to get up on out of here. Tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Fat Mouth Sports. We'll have the track coach from Grambling on the show. And then afterwards, they'll get into their shenanigans. I will be at work tomorrow night, tomorrow evening. So I don't get off until 10 o'clock tomorrow. Wednesday, I get off at 6. So I'm more than likely probably do a show on Wednesday to see, we'll do a kind of like a roundup as far as for play who playing on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we're gonna have a watch party on Fat Mouth Sports. Make sure y'all tune in. We're gonna see if those beach cats can pull it out in Tallahassee.
Get back.
And we're gonna see if Don Coach Thornton can keep it up and get win number 17 in conference play. I don't think nobody. The last team that they went 17-1 was Jackson State on the women's side.
Well,
it's been a long time though.
It's definitely gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real interesting. But as always, man, appreciate you for jumping on. As always,
no problem. Family.
This like my big brother right here. As y'all don't know, I don't really talk to too many people off this thing, except for a couple of few that I know and I trust, and Troy is one of them. So we'll get up out of here. Be blessed, be safe. Hug your loved ones, love on your loved ones. Check on your strong friends, as always. And in the words of our guy Jamal, punch a Nazi and fuck Donald Trump. Crash out on your kids and beat them out the penitentiary. That's mine. But we out of here, y'all. Y'all be easy.
All right.